is a bit earlier. Today it feels earlier than normal. Well, we're off to Silverstone, and for the 5th Patrick Lindsay Memorial Race. I'm driving an ERA, a 1936 ERA, which was originally built and prepared for Prince Bira of Siam by his cousin, Prince Chula Chakrabong. And my father bought it in about 1959, and he raced it all his life, and it's his sort of favourite car. And he died 5.5 years ago, and I then wanted to drive it. And there was a race which is introduced, done in memory of him.
The Lindsays have always been terrific adventurers. I mean, back generations and generations, and they've always been brave. Patrick, my husband, loved adventure. When we were engaged, he took up motor racing, which was rather disapproved of by my family. He had the odd accident, because he went everything full blast ahead. But the ironic thing was that instead of killing himself, he had a kind of 9 lives. He then goes and gets cancer. When he died, I was left all the cars and everything. And then, after a few years, made them over to the boys. And luckily, they all wanted different ones, so it was no problem. So they each chose the ones they liked. And the same applied to the aeroplanes.
I was left this car. I was given this car, and for me, it's like a sort of what you might call a stately home. I mean, it's more important. It's not a financial investment or anything like that. My mother originally got me to drive it in the first Patrick Lindsay Memorial Race, and I absolutely love it. I mean, it's the most amazing machine, and I now really see why my father kept it for 34 years or so. If I could see my son driving it and continuing the history of the car, that'll give me an enormous amount of pleasure.
I'm racing 2 cars today. I'm racing a G-type Jaguar in a 50 sports car race. And in my father's memorial race, I'm racing a Maserati 6CM, which is a pre-war Grand Prix car. I have 1 mechanic per team, and 1 mechanic specialises in my Porsche and Porsches generally. And this other mechanic specialises in vintage cars specifically. But we don't run it like a sort of professional racing team. He gets it going, makes sure there are tyres on it and it's full of petrol and that sort of thing. I mean, we're not professional at all.
So why aren't you doing this race?
Well, I just come back from Papua New Guinea and I didn't think I'd be back in time, so I didn't put an entry in. Rather annoying now that I am back and seeing Valentine and Ludovic give themselves up for it. So I'm a groupie today.
What was this trip you just did?
It was a trip into Irian Jaya where we wanted to see. Last year I went to Borneo and checked out the headhunters. So I thought I'd go and see how the cannibals live. They went on a sort of hiking trip right into the mountains with the Danai tribe, who are these men who wear no clothes, apart from a sort of gourd like that. They weren't eating anyone. The missionaries seemed to have come and spoilt all that. I went with an Australian friend. Yeah.
So was it just the 2 of you?
2 of us and 10 porters and a guide who carried all our equipment and everything else, cameras and things. So I try and go on expeditions for about 4 or 5 months a year. And
What do you do the rest of the time?
the rest of the time I do a bit of property in London. Very boring, but it earns my keep for the rest of the year.
No, I mean, we don't live here, but it is a bit of a playroom because we got sort of toys down here and, I mean, motorbikes, and there's occasionally an aeroplane down here, and the odd car. And people who come down to stay find it a bit like spending a bit of time in an open-air playroom.
Valentine and I keep some planes here. Ludovic doesn't actually fly anymore. He's putting all his energy into racing.
Did you have a bit of an accident with one of them, Jane?
Me? Yes. Last summer, yes, I was landed the aeroplane, I was taxiing along. And I was taxiing over to the swimming pool where everyone was having lunch, and there was a rabbit hole in the way. So it hit the rabbit hole, flipped off onto its back, and I was left hanging upside down, very embarrassed. And I was fine, apart from my pride in the aeroplane. I never know what's here at the moment. I don't know what's here at the moment, but today there's this. This is my plane, which is a American aerobatic plane called a Great Lakes. Very robust and fast. And this I'm going to go down and fly to Kenya with Valentine next year. He's going to take his plane.
There is a danger of smashed up, and you have to bear that in mind, and you obviously have to have great respect for these machines. I mean, they're not as safe, they're not as they're pretty safe. It's as safe as they would be safe enough, darling.
What about you doing it, Lucy?
Not really. Not really. I have every faith. Because the thing is, he's been doing it for years anyway. So, no. I try not to think about it too much.
That's me, girl. There's a raw egg for you. Right, we got 5 minutes till Wolf is down.
I'm not sure that I'm that hungry at this time of the morning.
I know, but I know that if I don't eat it, you've got to force it into you, like a sort of intravenous drip, and you feel much better later on in the day. I mean, eating a breakfast like this time of morning is... People do it every day.
I think that's a fair decision. Goal stands.
Where is he?
Lorenzo ahead.
There's some trouble around here.
Look at it. It's supposed to be spring racing. It's all thick ice. Oh, great.
Finished in the boot.
Sorry?
Finished in the boot.
Yeah.
It's always worse, one's children racing than one's husband somehow. I don't know why, but it just is quite more alarming. But on the other hand, I think it's safer now than it used to be. It seems they've got better suits and the track is safer and everything seems a bit safer, I hope. But I'm very glad they go on. You know, they're interested in all the things my husband collected. I mean, I think he'd be quite proud of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and my husband admired one of them. And they said, oh, well, you can have it, but you have to come and drive it back. Suppose it must have been 6 years later. He rolls up in Jaipur and where's the car? So he and a friend drove the car back through Afghanistan, through the Khyber Pass, I think a rather difficult route. And they had a very adventurous trip. Oh, meanwhile, I was back at home expecting a baby.
He brought it back while I was being born in London, and he was actually in the middle of the Khyber Pass. When I was born, I was very nearly called Khyber. Thankfully, I wasn't.
Is it a boys' world racing?
Racing? Yeah, it is. But, you know, there are lots of sides of it that are fun as well for everybody. So it's, I mean, it's always fun watching someone go around doing something quite dangerous very quickly. I think it's nice to, when they're racing and they've got lots to do, to have someone there, you know, to watch them do their thing, and if they do well, and it makes it all worthwhile for them. Makes it more fun, I think.
In the Patrick Lindsay race, I mean, I got one main competitor, and that's Anthony Mayman. He's won it for the last 4 years, 3 years. He puts a lot of effort into practice and testing, and he does more than I do. And and he's a very good driver. But Anthony is driving another ERA. It's a little bit lighter than mine, and it's quite a lot more powerful.
Well, I think practice is important, particularly when circuits are changed and what have you, and it is a dangerous occupation. And I think if you do practice and try and reduce the odds, as it were, then it's a sensible thing to do.
Don't recognise this road one bit.
Don't you?
No. Darling. We're now in Water Stratford.
That's right, Water Stratford. You don't trust me. And then we're going on to Dadford.
There is another road, you see, which goes through Stowe Park.
We should come across, I don't know, a nursery or something. It's got a flower on the map.
I don't know, it might be National Trust, I think, or something. National Trust, that's Stowe, the house.
Oh, that's okay then.
This is the Stowe School.
Sorry, I got my whole little plastic bag. I found it in my car this morning. Shall I get in the bag?
Yeah, sure. If you can.
I might learn to fly. Valentine's so into it. My father flew, so maybe I can use all the planes that are here. It'd be so much fun. I mean, there's nothing more romantic than a lovely sunny evening going flying off in an old open plane. I mean, I don't know how I'll get on, but I don't think my sense of direction is that good.
Well, we're in perfect time, actually. It's a little bit...
Spider of everything.
Spider. Missing the right turning, and this is the club straight where we come flying down, or not. And this is the paddock. Right, we want to park somewhere around here. They're warming up my car.
Yes, Remus!
Yeah, car's
lines. You can go around that track one way around. So they'd only have, by having the wheels closer to that way, they can go around the circuit once. And it's only got 2 gears, first and second gear, a lot of torque, very fast, terribly difficult to manage. Thank God I'm not driving it.
Yes.
We've got you on our list as scratched. Do you know why?
No.
You haven't scratched?
No.
You
There
sure?
was a driver change at one point.
The driver change?
Yeah.
I should make sure they understand that because they've given us you as scratched.
Alan, you know where there's a driver change from J. Lindsay to V. Lindsay in the Maserati?
The clerk of the courses office is over there.
Okay, so in other words, down there, beyond this blue and white barrier, through the bollards, round and back into here.
Okay.
Don't come off down the bollard.
Okay, and back down this slip road.
And then back down the slip road here. And then we're going to assemble you in this section here in 3 lines. It's all very confused, new stuff.
Well, we're going to start here and then start again.
Yes, you're going to come out from there, and then assemble over there, and then start again back.
I haven't seen it go fast.
You want to?
Really fast. I don't know. I do really. I do.
You can't go back anymore.
It's a little difficult to do.
It's really annoying. I mean, things are going quite well, but I came up to, I was behind Peter Hannon, or in front of him, I can't remember, and we came up to Beckett, tight corner at the top, and the car was being wheeled off, and they hung out a stationary yellow flag, which means you're supposed to slow down or whatever, which I can't actually, I can remember the car being towed off. We then carried on our way, and there are no other green flags or yellow flags after, there's nothing to say anything. We carried on, and they given us a 10-second penalty in the back of the grid. It's a lot more dangerous. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but I mean it's a silly rule.
Hamburger?
I'll have one, please.
Yeah, go on, go. Hamburger or cheeseburger? Hamburger. Do you want that? Hamburger. Hi, darling.
I'm a bit worried. There's a gear stick right between my legs, so I have to go like this a great deal. I must say, I'm quite nervous about driving it.
Well, Mayman on the front row with alongside him, Tom Fisher.
My mother.
How many laps on it? 12 laps.
Well, 15 laps.
49!
Long way to go. It's not it.
The first time I went motor racing with him was when we were first married. But he never saw any point in one going motor racing. He always said it was not a spectator sport, and he wouldn't dream of going motor racing unless he actually was racing. So he never particularly minded if one did go. Probably been more since he died to watch the Support the Boys. the back. Oh. Where is Ludovic? What? Where is Ludovic? If he did something, he always did it actually very well. He won lots of races. In fact, he didn't like the cups because he thought they were pointless, and so he always used to ask for a tankard instead, which was the second or third prize. So the whole of our house is littered in these tankards.
I haven't seen him at all. He just abandoned it, I think, and went to see the rest of the race. So we'll find out later.
Never mind. Next time. Next time.
I don't know what it was. It just started. It felt a bit funny on the warming up lap, and then there's nothing we could do. And then when we were coming round, I just felt it dying. It just sort of wouldn't fire.
Do you know what happened?
Don't know yet. Valentine's going very well. I was watching something.
The car. What happened with the car?
I don't know. They've been having problems with that car. It's only really just come out of
We're
mothballs.
waiting for Raymond to come round, but he missed it before, didn't he? And I'm afraid
Susanna, I think there's been a bit of a cock-up. Well, Anthony Mayman has been directed into the paddock by some over-efficient marshal.
And he's supposed to be here.
Did you have a walkie-talkie?
He's gone to the wrong side. I don't know where
What's
he's
happened?
Well, he won't come now.
No.
I'll have to go and give it to him in the paddock.
Unless he's broken down.
You must give it to him.
Yeah. We'll go and give it to him at the thing.
that delightful Lee Francis there.
I don't know.
He doesn't want it.
It wouldn't pick up. And so I don't know.
Well, I've been mucking you about over there.
What? Shall I give it to you instead?
Yes. Good idea.
I'll give it to you instead.
Anthony's won it for the fourth time. And which is I mean, actually very good.
Well done. Sorry about that. They waved me off the.
This is what you're meant to.
They waved me off the circuit. Hey, all right.
Well done.
What happened to you, Ludo?
I don't know, the car just died on me. On the warm-up lap. And then the same happened to Valentine later on.
Another very good day.
What's that, fourth time lucky?
Sorry?
Fourth time lucky?
Fifth time.
Fifth time?
Fourth. David Black.
1991. Five. 87. 88, 89. 5. Is it? Thank you. Thanks.
Why didn't you come in? Did you not?
Well, the chap walked out onto the circuit and waved me in, and I perhaps thought that they'd decided to cancel the
I thought you won so many times you didn't perhaps want another wreath.
I didn't want to turn up and find that everybody had gone.
Oh, yes, I see. Anyway, it's very nice. I'm glad.
Is there anything else? Your brother in the sports car?
Yeah, Valentine's in the D-type now.
Well, I know. Still,
Just
he's done very well.
one of those days.
Would you like to please go back to your car and deal with it?
Ralph, who's going to get the car?
Okay, Jim.
You're away, Ludo.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry it wasn't a more exciting day.
Well, sorry. Bloody awful day.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
But, you know, that's what happens.
No.
Well done.
You can't star and win, mate, can you?
What's the opposite to starring, then?
What's that? Well, that's down our end of the scale, mate. I shouldn't worry about that.
You just win.